knowing that Loi is always going to out-macro you in terms of mobility. So instead of committing to the fight, they're hoping that this tanky compositions doesn't give free kills whenever the divergence kind of sets up an ambush here. So I get where Smart Omega is going here, but again, they are going to lack a lot of damage.
In most situations, I would agree with that, but right now, my main problem would be triple front line. You don't have a mage that is consistent.
Yeah, agreed.
Star Shatter, the moment you miss that Star Shatter, you lost already a lot of damage. And the fact that your triple front line doesn't have a lot of damage, you miss one Star Shatter, you know you're gonna have to go back because you can't rely onto a Moskov in the early or mid game.
Yeah, I can see where you're going at as well here. That just kind of shifts the focus on who is going to be carrying the weight and the burden to kind of carry through the game. And in this case, Smart Omega is going to be up to Enduryu with the Baxia to kind of set the tempo for the team. Get very, very oppressive in early game as well. Deal with the spell vamps from Kyrie. Deal with the spell vamps from CC. Deal with the spell vamps coming from Ruby on his innate ability. So it is going to be a lot of weight onto his Enduryu here for Smart Omega to kind of push them through towards this game.
Alright, thank you so much over to Terrence as we are going to be moving on to the final game of the series between Smart Omega and Fnatic Onic. Now, I didn't really get the chance to really ask Sadafa about his idea of the lineup of Smart Omega, but now's the time.
I share similar sentiments to you, Abstract. The lack of damage is very concerning. Kibo is playing very aggro here on a hero that Orden... Oh, he stole it!
No way! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, that's not a great start. That is so not a good start.
I'm looking at the cooldown on Endoryu's retry too. He started with it. He was not expecting.
Oh, he started it.
Yeah, he started with it to maximize efficiency, so he was not prepared to retry it.
He wanted the cooldown to be over by the time he reached over to the orange buff. I mean, let's be honest here. You're looking at a Ruby roam and a Lawyer in mid. Who would have thunk that this Ruby is gonna come in and raid you?
Like, you hold on.
It doesn't seem like Kyrie is going to get away that easily though, but he is going to go for the enhanced sword and just immediately pivoted himself out of that.
Okay, I love the creativity here because Smart Omega, I can't even blame them for this. You would never expect a invade from a Ruby roam.
Never.
And that is why Endoryu uses retry to start to get efficiency. Chaknu and Uke are not there to help him jungle because who does that, right?
Who does that?
But it worked. It worked really well, and that's what we want to see because Smart Omega are hedging on late game. You have Novaria, you have Moskov. Those are your only sources of damage. You do nothing until late game. Onic are the ones that are going to run this game down and end it ASAP.
This might actually potentially be the kind of first Lord and a lot of the inhibitor turrets will go down already kind of situation. I don't believe that Endoryu will be able to do anything. In fact, to see them trying to challenge for this turtle is already out of it.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. He should not have done that. He's already one level down. There's no reason for him to be there. His team is not ready to back him up. Go for your purple buff instead. Try to catch up in EXP with Kyrie when he's taking the objective. And because they decided not to do that, Omega are even further behind. They can actually zone him off of his purple buff now.
I think that is exactly what they're going to do. In fact, Endoryu have pretty much expected that Fnatic Onic would want to steal this purple buff away. As such, he started off onto the orange buff. Kyrie already at level 6, while Endoryu just hit level 4. The level discrepancy is just so jarring. And what exactly does Smart Omega gotta have to do at this point in time?
It's a bit hard to say. They're gonna have to slow it down, basically. They have to make sure that there's vision on the map at all times. Because they just don't really have the tools to actually directly fight Onic right now. That's why I don't like this draft. Onic can run into their jungle with impunity because they've already created an EXP gap against the most dangerous early game opponent being Endoryu. And by the way, Kyrie actually left the small purple buff too.
Oh,
so like, you see that icon on the bottom? Yeah,
it shows
delaying the respawn.
And you gotta have to really kill it before it respawns out. But in the meantime, it does seem like Smart Omega really wanted this kill on the side of Keyboy. So at least they did manage to find a little bit of a consolation for their early game by taking Keyboy out.
And that is good, but I worry if it's gonna be good enough. I think like Jom getting the last hit on that was very, very crucial.
Ryota now up in the top lane, finds himself taken down as well. So Fnatic Onic is definitely on a charge, while Smart Omega is kind of on a kind of wild goose chase.
Yeah, again, Jome needs to get farmed ASAP. That's why him getting the last hit and getting that kill was actually really important. You gotta funnel his... Oh!
That's way too much damage from the side of Fnatic Onic. We are talking about a triple front line from Smart Omega, but yet Chaknu has been obliterated in second like a hot knife through butter. And Fnatic Onic taking the turtle, going into opponent's jungle, completely dominating and being an alpha to Endoryu.
I think Omega are on the receiving end of realizing why we don't play tank junglers anymore. You have 3 front lines, doesn't matter. If you have enough damage, they just melt anyway, and that is exactly what Onyx is doing.
The Drill of Destruction lands right on top of Sans, but it doesn't seem like that is going to be too big for them, as the diversion allows Sans to run away. But the next one going to be on the chopping block is going to be Kyrie, as the Nominal Blast lands right on top of him. Ryota actually have decided to go for a flicker penalty zone onto absolutely no one, unfortunately. So that is some resources used.
Yeah, I don't know what that was from Ryota. That felt like a mess, but Onic also made a lot of mistakes here. I think it's continuing.
That's gonna be onto CW. He wants to walk away. Keyboy immediately went straight in for the Armor Fended and effectively managed to save CW at the cost of the tier 1 at the bottom.
Yeah, Omega is still gonna be stronger in a direct 5v5 situation because yes, you can melt tanks nowadays, but you still gotta put a little bit of elbow grease into it. And Onic are just running at them again.
A little bit of a dent in the armor from the side of Smart Omega. When it comes down to the poking game, Fnatic Onic is still relatively strong, even though we are looking at a Novaria with the Star Shatter. Once again, remember this, it is all about these skill shots coming from Smart Omega, which ultimately makes this game so much more difficult for Smart Omega to play. The moment that this Moskov played by Jome don't land the skill shot of the Spear of Destruction, you know that split push coming in from him is not gonna pay dividends, and your entire team is gonna go down. The moment that Novaria misses a Star Shatter, your entire team fight will lack a lot of damage for a good 5 seconds.
Mind you as well, even though Onic did end up making mistakes and giving over unnecessary kills, they still have a 3k net worth advantage, and it's actually growing, because if you pay close enough attention, you will realize that Onic is farming 75% of the map. And Omega has this many frontline tanks that need to be in fights and a tendency to want to roam together before taking a fight. They're not farming efficiently. The only player that is actually scaling is Jome.
There we go, Divergent coming from Fnatic Onic. It does seem like the Star Shatter is not going to land. Ryota with the penalty zone did manage to land on the one, but unfortunately that is going to be the Armor Fender landing on Ryota. He's actually tanking and taking a lot of hits. He's still alive though, and Doryu runs in around Kyrie, brings him down. Ryota flickers backwards. He's going to be safe and sound for now. The rest of the members for the side of Fnatic Onic just going to be hiding themselves right within of this square, while CW runs right in, leaps in, but it doesn't seem like that is going to be enough to kill anyone from the side of Smart Omega.
This game is messy, man. Like, I am seeing a lot of mechanical mistakes from players that really should not be making them. The fact that Chaknu flickered forward with the Numenon Blast to actually end up missing everyone is... Yes, he flickered forward to slot himself really nicely between all the members of Fnatic Onic and didn't actually land on anyone. And you would think that Onic should be able to punish that, but I also feel like Kyrie needs a little bit... Like, either he's lacking practice on Julian or he's tired, because he's diving in way too much.
Well, speaking of diving, Andoryu jumps right in and of course chained it with the Dominant Blast and chained it up top with the penalty zone. That is CW that's going to be the first person taken down. Fnatic Onic runs right in and runs right back, right underneath the turret's nose. They're going to be safe and sound at least for now, after realizing, yeah, we lost CW, we can't take this fight.
This is weird, man. This is very weird. Onic should not be losing these engagements. They honestly don't need to be taking them in the first place. You need to be willing to sacrifice people here. Omega's gonna keep running at you. You don't have to do the same.
Wait, dude, are they really going to go this fight as well? Never mind, CW is joining in. Would they be having enough damage? Yes! Kyrie comes in from behind, gets a kill down on the Jome, while the Numenon Blast is just gonna be landing. Ryota running all the way back. Lutpi swinging her yo-yo. Gets another one down to the name, and Chaknu all the way in front of the base. He's also going to be taken down with 3 members down from the side of Smart Omega.
This is not a pro game. This is brawl with 3 lanes. Because that's what it feels like these players are doing.
Really scrappy.
It is very scrappy. Onic did manage to punish Omega for pushing too far there, but one wrong move and that could have cost them a lot. I am really surprised at how old on.
Very uncharacteristic, but for now, the quick little jump coming in from Boxia's shielded Unity, who jumps in and finds himself sacrificing his life for technically nothing, as he wanted to go for the Lord Steal. So that is 1 Lord lost, and Andoryu taken down too.
You know, one of the first tips I would give like a hard stuck epic player is to not fight so much. Yeah, they're gonna watch this game and tell me that tip is like not worth it, you know? Like this is, I don't understand what these teams are doing. Like
To be fair,
Onic seems confident enough to take fights, so I'll give them that. Omega needs to chill a little bit sometimes.
I'm not too sure. Maybe it's the fact that this game doesn't have any weightage. So that's why they're just kind of shutting the brains off a little bit and just kind of like, yeah, let's just go with the flow.
I don't know about that. It's weighing very heavily on me.
Well, I'm pretty sure that we are going to be seeing Satafa transcending into madness in a short little bit. You know what to say, but for the bit at a time, we have Ryota jumping in onto Sans. Sans has been caught time and time again. I don't think that that's looking very good, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's fine. He's still able to get out. I think this is the reason. This is the reason why Malloy isn't quite as popular anymore. You get jumped once and you realize you don't really have a way of escaping. But Onic is gonna be able to continue this siege because Omega has already used some of their resources.
Diversion? Wait, okay, never mind. I thought I saw something. But for now, though, their positioning has been relatively scattered, where Sans have found himself being caught a couple of times, Kyrie going kind of underestimating their opponents and just kind of putting himself in relatively bad positions, or maybe Smart Omega is just making full use of their mobility and they're just understanding how they want to position themselves in this game.
Well, looks like we're back into it, and I guess both teams took that pause as an opportunity to say, okay, we're gonna shake on it, it's time to go.
Time to fall back. I mean, you wouldn't want to overestimate, or rather, you wouldn't want to really just jump in, especially when there is no creeps around.
Let's have a look at the itemization currently. Things are looking pretty solid for Fnatic Onic. They've already got a 6k net worth lead. And CW actually going for Thunderbelt into Skypiercer on top of everything.
Oh.
Meanwhile, on the opposite side, we got the Flask into Bloodwings on the side of Chakanu for that extra shielding.
Wow, that is a lot of HP, or rather shields, to really work with. In the meantime, the diversion is just a scouting tool. The rest of Fnatic Onic is just working on very much poking mechanism. Look at the damage that's going to be landing onto Andoryu. Ryota jumps in with the penalty zone, landing onto the 2, allowing Ukir to get into the Soul Shatter, getting 1 kill down on the Keyboy. The next one, the chopping block, is going to be Kyrie Sans. The next one, to the eyes of Ukir, the one and only Ukir, landing all of these Star Shatter. And CW understands that, yeah, I can't really do anything except for to fight back onto Andoryu. As such, CW takes that 1 kill. Lutpi, right in the faces of Chaknu, he's just melting people down with those true damage that we are expecting to see. Ryota is going to be on the chopping block and he's going to be executed and going down into the ground. The next one that probably will go down into the coffin is Chaknu. Lutpi and CW leading the charge, and they managed to find some opportunity from all of that demise.
Well, this is where we see the pros and cons of having 3 frontline units. Are you very good at diving the opponent? Yes. Are you very good at following up when all your DPS options are gone? No. That's how Onic is able to turn that around, because they do still have Lutpi and CW alive. And because Omega are not able to find a full wipe there, they're able to buy enough time for Kyrie to come back and secure that Lord, which means that Omega are gonna need to mount another base defense. I will say though, it actually was Onyx's mistake starting that fight there. That was not a very good place, because you know how easy it is for Moskov to do damage in small, narrow funnels.
the alleyway is the last place that you'll want to face off against a Moskov. But regardless, it seems as though that the fight was actually pretty optimistic for the side of Smart Omega. They really ran it down on the Fnatic Onic, but I think that they kind of overstayed their welcome or maybe underestimated Fnatic Onic doing that wild goose chase. As such, losing some key players amidst of all of that chaos.
Yeah, they were feeling themselves a little bit too much here, and let's see if that punishes them enough to cost the game.
Keyboy's looking for something, but it's not really landing anything just yet, as the members from Smart Omega is really respecting that I'm offended. Not quite yet, but the top, middle, and bottom lane, the inhibitor turret is gonna go straight down. Ryota start things off with the penalty zone, but no one from the side of Smart Omega is going to be following it up because they gotta have to deal with this lot for now. The rest of the members from the side of Fnatic Onic, especially CW, ran right in and tore everyone into shreds, allowing Fnatic Onic to take this game for game number 3, allowing them this win of the series.
That was just an absolute mess of a game right there. I do feel that the players enjoyed themselves midway through and then got a little bit exasperated towards the end, because I think that turned out a little bit more difficult than Onic expected, considering how smoothly it was going in the early game, and shows that you do still need to respect a team that is quite good at fighting 5v5, because you will often find yourselves in those situations once you get into the mid to late game phase. And I think if Omega are able to work on that and polish up some of their weaknesses elsewhere, they have a lot of potential.
I think that even for Fnatic Onic themselves, they aren't exactly too satisfied with this win. They gave one win away to Smart Omega, and this game that Omega drafted for themselves is not exactly a kind of draft that Fnatic Onic would have trouble with. But you know what? Maybe there's something else that we don't know. As we invite Terrence back onto the panel, what do you have for us watching from the sidelines?
You know, a win is still a win, but nevertheless here, the idea from Smart Omega, I dissected it during the draft as well. And Fnatic Onic was able to identify that, and having Keyboy to kind of slow down Anduri's farm was pretty much the set that they needed to allow Kyrie have like a 3 to so I think 4 to almost 5 level lead on top of Anduriu, which forced Smart Omega to lose a majority of the damage. And I hear you guys. You guys were saying that, hey, they lacked a lot of damage, but guess what? Look at the stats right now. 163,000 over to 161. So I don't think there was a lot of damage issue. It came down more towards execution. I think that one moment where Smart Omega was able to make a turnaround down bottom, where it was a little bit of a misplay coming from Ukir, where he missed his spell and allowed CW to just 1v4 all the way through. And like you guys said, they don't have the damage dealer. Joel was the guy that was taken out right from the get-go. So all in all, I feel like it was mistakes from both sides, but eventually Fnatic Onic just had more room to work with compared to Smart Omega.
I think through this game, we all can agree that Ukir gotta have to be that player from the side of Smart Omega that we gotta have to look out for. This is a game that really relied on the Ukir to really dish out the damage, and any moment that he misses Star Shatter, the team suffers a massive consequence. But time and time again, we have been seeing Ukir actually landing all of these shots, so we gotta have to give credits where credit's due. That 163,000 damage dealt from the side of Smart Omega is heavily contributed over to the side of Ukir, and I say this guy, he knows his mechanics and he's landing on these shots perfectly. But before we even jump in to take a look at the rest of the information and perhaps who's the MVP from FNOC, we do have Mara that is upstairs ready to give us a stunning interview. Mara, take it away.